Well, here's the thing about criminal trials and civil trials, because I've gone through both.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to a civil trial, if you get a conviction on the criminal side,
Mm-hmm.
including a plea deal, isn't that an automatic win on the civil side?
You got it.
Because
Liability is established.
the level that you have to convict on the criminal side is much higher than civil. Like you said, it's like 97% versus 51%. So was the fear of accepting the plea deal by Rocky that he would suddenly owe Relly like millions of dollars?
Honestly, Vlad, that part of the conversation didn't even enter. It wasn't even a conversation. What would his damages be to a scraped knuckle? That's what he had, a scraped knuckle. I mean, what, $55?
Well, hold on. No, it's not a scraped knuckle. It's someone shooting at me and so forth. Isn't that, worthy of a lawsuit? If he actually pled guilty to that?
If he did plead guilty, or if it actually happens, worthy of a lawsuit, but this amount of damages. Damages still have to be commensurate with what happened. What's the damages? Nothing. He went on with his life. He's on Instagram showing his hand with a Rolex watch. He pretended he was a billionaire. He wasn't. He wasn't a millionaire. At one point, I pulled out that he had $600 in his account as he's telling people he's a millionaire, right? And that goes to not to embarrass him. It goes to credibility. It goes to his financial motivation to get money from Rocky. So look, the bottom line is, yes, but that wasn't part of our consideration. Rocky could afford whatever this ridiculous case would have resolved in a civil case. But yes, and I said this to the jury, I said that, I go, he wants a conviction here because he wants you to do his bidding. He's using you all as his money collectors, okay? And if you want to reward that witness, that perjurer, that liar who you should be offended by because he lied to your face. He took an oath to tell the truth and he looked you in the eyes and lied to you. If you want to reward him, convict Rocky. Convict Rocky. But if you will not stand for that outrageous testimony, that perjurious testimony, you don't think he should be rewarded $30 million for a scrape on the knuckle that he caused, you have to say not guilty. And it was another argument we made, and I think I made it a lot easier for the jury.
Well, I remember watching an interview with you near the start of the trial, and you said that Rocky doesn't want Rihanna anywhere near this case.
Not anywhere near it.
But then at the very end, Rihanna actually was in the courtroom.
Not even at the very end. Basically, after day 3, she was in the courtroom almost every day.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Vlad, look, Rocky and I had this discussion. I commend him. He's like, look, this is my family. This is not their problem. It's not her problem. I'm going to deal with it. I'm like, I know, Rock, but, families are there for each other. It's cool. He goes, Joe, she's Rihanna. I'm protecting her from this. I'm not letting her be here. Don't, let's not even discuss anymore. I'm like, dude, you're cool, man. No problem. And I said to the judge, I don't expect her here. And I said to the jury, I said, he doesn't want her near this place. I was being honest. Well, Rihanna decided, I don't really care what you want, Rocky. Joe, I'm coming into that courtroom. So please just let the judge know I'll be there. Because the judge kept asking, is she coming? Is she coming? Is she coming? And I said, she's coming. And we're sitting there one day. I'll never forget this, what happened. I knew Ree was coming. And she's in the front row. She walked in 10 minutes after proceedings started, with, obviously to try and be discreet and come in. And she sat in the front row. It was a relatively small courtroom, but our side, the defense side, was sort of right behind us, off to the right, the defense spectator side, if you will. And we're at the table. And Rocky doesn't know she's there, doesn't know she's coming. But I did. And I just didn't want to bother him with that. I was focused. He's there. He goes, Joe, I smell my girl. It's weird, man. I'm like, yeah, Rocky, you smell your girl because she's sitting right behind you. His eyes got all big. He goes, what? She's here, bro. He goes, you weren't keeping her away. He goes, oh, damn. He started like smiling and laughing. And it made him feel good, obviously, because, she is one of the greatest and biggest celebrities in the world. Okay, one of the most well-known people. And she acted like a supportive partner, a mother, didn't look for special treatment. And she is such a great woman. I got to know her over these years. I babysat for the baby during her Super Bowl performance by accident. I thought I was going to Super Bowl parties. Instead, I was a domesticated house help. But that's another story. But she was so great. And we talk every day after court. And she was just so gracious and thankful. And just every day said to me, Joe, are we okay? Is my family okay? I was like, your family's okay, Ree. It's okay. And I'm like, I can't guarantee what the jury's going to do, but I felt good. I did, Vlad. And so after the verdict, after that insanity of that reaction of that verdict, she came into the well of court. and she came and was looking at me crying, gave me the biggest hug, put her head on my chest and said, Joe, thank you. Thank you for saving my family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She goes, I'm naming my next kid ASAP Joe. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to do that. He goes, no, our next kid is ASAP Joe. And Rocky's like, ASAP Joe, it's ASAP Joe. That's our next baby. But the real important part of this story is, if you saw any picture of me that day in court, Vlad, I was wearing the lightest colored suit I could ever own. It was like a beige, light beige. Some people thought it was white. I don't wear white suits, but it was a very light colored beige suit. Rhea's crying. She puts her head here. And now I'm hugging her, and she's being emotional. She's, again, I have a love for her. And she pulls her head away. The entire Fenty palette color scheme was on my lapel with her tears. I looked down. I went from euphoria to absolute devastation within about 30 seconds. I was like, oh, it's a brand new. I wore the suit once, Vlad. I was like, oh. I said, Rhea, you owe me a suit. She's like, I'll get you 10. Then I was like, oh my God, I don't know if this is ever going to come out. I don't know if it's going to come out. I'm like, and people, Harvey Levin from TMZ goes, hey, was something wrong with you? He goes, don't take that out. Keep that. That's the greatest momentum you could ever have from that trial. You have Rihanna's tears and mascara all over you, her makeup. That's you can sell a thing for 20 grand right now. I'm like, well, that's not a bad idea. So I had them remake a jacket. I kept that. I'm not selling it. I'm going to keep it because it really was a moment that day. And she did something to me that I don't often do during a trial. She brought tears to my eyes in the middle of my summation. Well, it was not the middle. It was the end. It's 5.5 hours, Vlad. And when I'm giving a summation, I'm like having an out-of-body experience. I'm really going at it, and I believe in what I'm saying. And I get to the end of every summation, I do something that teeters on being very emotional because I care. And I looked at my client. I said, it's been my honor and privilege to represent Rakim, ASAP Rocky, in the most important moment, undoubtedly, of his life. I said, I think he's just a terrific human being, and blah, blah, blah. So I do my little thing there. And I said, I'd also like to take a moment to thank his family for putting their trust in me. His mother was there every day. She's an amazing woman, Brownsville. She's like she's from Harlem. I mean, she's just a tough woman, a really great woman. Sisters were there, and Rhea was there. And I turned to say, and I thank his family for putting their trust in me in such an important matter. And I look, and Rihanna is bawling. She's crying. I've never seen Rihanna cry before. And I'm not very super close to her, but I've been close enough with her for over the course of 3 years. I've seen her a bunch of times. She's a strong woman in every way. I mean, and when I saw her crying, something just hit me in a weird way where the magnitude of the moment, I understood what was about to happen. She was either going to lose her man and the father of her 2 children for a decade or up, or he was coming home. And I saw it like that, and I turned to the jury to finish my summation, and I realized, oh my God, I can't speak. My eyes started welling up in tears. The bottom of my chin started doing that stupid thing, like quivering a little bit. I was like, okay. It's like, help. It's not like I know what to do. So I'm looking at the jury, I said, and I started trying to say my next word, and I go, and. I said, and. And now I got the camera here. So that's the first time I realized I had a camera. So I turned my back this way towards the court. Like, oh my, help. I see 2 of the jurors crying. Vlad, 2 of the jurors are looking at me crying. Now, when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's good. Okay, they're feeling this emotional moment with me. That's not a bad thing. I was able to, recapture my composure after about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and I went on and finished it. But it also, I think, tells the jury, and it's because they're not fake, they're real. That's a real emotion, it's real tears. You can't fake that stuff. You can't. If you fake tears, if you fake crying, it will look fake. It'll be shown as fake, and your credibility as a messenger is gone. 5.5 hours, I might as well stood up there for 3 minutes and sat down. But when you do that, it lets them understand that you believe. You believe in this case. You believe in this family. You believe in what you're saying, and you move to the point of having an emotional sort of moment. And I did. And the judge came to me afterwards. He goes, such a tough guy like you. He goes, did I see you get emotional? Were you tearing up? I'm like, Judge, I was. I go, it's a lot. It's a lot to, a lot of responsibility on my shoulder. And I did. And I looked around and she was crying. He looks at me. I thought he was going to mock me. He goes, wow, that was powerful. That was powerful. And again, it wasn't meant to be powerful. It was just meant to be. It's how I do it. So it was just a culmination of everything, the emotions after 5.5 weeks of war every day with this prosecutor. And it was a hell of an experience.